Hello friends, what's going on? My name is Hua. I am Chief Coder of Freedom Code channel. Welcome here and welcome back. In this video, we're gonna take another baby step to know about xsecurelock a bit better. So as you know, in the baby step 32, I did configure xsecurelock in my Arch Linux system, but I didn't set up it to automatically lock um, the desktop that I have when the the monitor go to sleep. So there was a guy asking a question in that video: how do we get the timeout feature work? So so this baby step video, I'm gonna show how I do that. It's actually very simple. So first of all, if we go to xsecurelock GitHub, it's actually mentioned about that. So this section, it talk about authentication on resume from suspend or hibernate and automatic locking. And in this README, it's mentioned about xsecurelock as a way to detect inactivity of your system, and that's actually the approach that I use to set up my computer. So first thing first, you need to install xsecurelock, and xsecurelock support. Well, actually it doesn't mention in here, but you can look it up in Arch Linux wiki, and this has a section talking about xsecurelock in here, and xsecurelock support both systemd events and dpms, but and it's supported out of the box. It doesn't require any configuration at all, and we're gonna use for my setup, I relies on dpms event instead. So yeah, if you want, you can take a look at this documentation, but let's go back to here. So here, when the systemd go to sleep, it's gonna fire some event, and it's gonna trigger, it's gonna run on the script that you put in this directory before and after a string go to sleep, or the system go to sleep or suspend or hibernate, and it's gonna run your script in here. So that's why in this documentation it suggests to put a script named xsecurelock. You can name it anything, but just go with this naming convention. And what does it do? Basically, it detects that when the system goes to sleep, and it send the signal to xsecurelock. Actually, not when it's to sleep, but when it wake up, when the system exits, so that it send a signal to tell xsecurelock. Actually, it's gonna kill the xsecurelock, so to wake up the system. So I already have that script created just exactly what is written in here. You can just copy and paste. So yeah, nothing different here. I just copy and paste, and here it detects for the first parameter to be post, so it's only trigger and queue execute lock when we receive a post event from system D. You can see you can see the manual page of system D sleep, and in here you can see it say that immediately after leaving system suspend or hibernation, the same execution are run, but the first argument is now post. So basically, whenever system D detect that the system going to suspend or hibernation mode, or when it exit the hibernation and suspend, is gonna run on executable in this directory. So that's why we create this strip, and that's why we detect for the post argument here. So our execute strip is only run when we exit the hibernation or suspend or sleeping mode. Okay, so that's the very first step. Actually, I have a note here so that I remember what to cover. Yeah, that is step number one. And also there's some something that we that comes handy. That is a xset command. So xset is it's a utility. It's a application for utility application for X, and you can read more detail in here. But some of the command, useful command, is xset q, which is query. So it tells you the current setting. Right now, some of this, the custom setting that I have is like the PMS. I set them on to 0 to disable the power measurement, because this is the desktop setup, so I don't care much about the power saving. Screensaver timeout, I set it to be 300 and cycle 5. You can see the manual page for more detail about what are these. But basically the timeout is what we care about the most. It tells how long before we trigger the screensaver or execute lock, how long the system can be in the inactive mode. So like 300 seconds or like 5 minutes. Yeah, I cannot do math today. So after 5 minutes, it's gonna trigger the screensaver or execute lock if there's no activity on this on the system, like you're not using it. But let's reset that for now. Okay, so that's the first step. The second step, we need to copy the dimmer executable. Actually, we don't need to copy the dimmer. We can leave it as is. So my xsecurelock is installed to this location. Yeah, that is where I check out the source code, compile, and so on and so forth. And in here, there's a when you build xsecurelock, it provide a utility application called dimmer, which we can use to dim the string before it trigger the xsecurelock. I mean, it's optional, but you can use that as an indicator to show that, okay, the system going to sleep and going to be locked now. So you can skip this step 2 copy. You can just use the dimmer directly from that directory. But if you want, you can copy the dimmer to user lib directory like this. So that you can use this commands as is. But anyway, this copy step 2 is optional. So step 3, you need to install xsecurelock. So xsecurelock is a community. I think it's available in extra. Yeah, it's available in extra. So in here, this package is available in extra. You can use Pacman to install it, or you can use like Peru or Yay. Like in my case is Peru. I already installed that, so I'm not gonna install it again, but I already installed this package. So with xsecurelock installed, then pretty much all you need. You don't have to configure xsecurelock at all. As I mentioned in beginning, it supports the PMS event out of the box. So now what's left is you need to configure xinit or RC. So that's a xsecurelock is started in beginning. So this is my init RC. So first thing is you set this to be 305. If you run xsq by default, you probably have this to be 600 and 600, like 10 minutes and 10 minutes as a timeout. But you can this reduces to 305. And what does it mean? You can see it in here. So here, the length, the first numeric value is the length for the to determine how long the server must be inactive for the string saving to activate. So I changed it to 300, which is 300 seconds, which is 5 minutes. And the period to change the background pattern to avoid burning, which is 5 seconds later. So that is the first thing I configure in xinit. Optionally, you can disable DPMS with the value 0 here, but it's optional. It's up to you. If you run a laptop, maybe you don't want to disable power saving, but that's optional. It's not needed. And next, you just okay, you can copy this. So it become something like this. Remember to add the ampersand at the end, otherwise when you start the system you will be locked out. you will need to have the USB Arch Linux USB to fix it. So don't forget this ampersand at the end. The dimmer is optional. As I mentioned, if you copy the dimmer to the user lib, then this is the path. Otherwise, let me see, this, for example, my xsecurelock is installed in the local apps, xsecurelock. So I can use a dimmer from its location like this as well. You don't have to copy it over, but yeah, this is optional. And the dimmer also optional. You can just remove this as well and just run -l xsecurelock as well. So yeah, but the dimmer add a nice indicator. So if you add this line, and then yeah, and that's it. So once you have this, let's try it out. Actually, let's try without this setting first. So I'm going to restore X. So this is in beginning. We don't have xsecurelock configured at all. So if we try to simulate that by calling xset as activate to activate the suspend or sleeping mode, and you see it doesn't lock the screen at all. But if we enable the last step we did, we enable, no, not this line, xsecurelock. Let's change this config here as well. So let me restore X system. So if we activate now, the system is locked. So you cannot, it's automatically locked by xsecurelock. Yeah, so it's just basic like that. You can customize the xsecurelock as usual, like you can pass in some parameter before you call xsecurelock. Basically, you can add any parameter before xsecurelock here, but I have a symlink lock here for convenience. So I'll show you the symlink in just a moment. But here it's called the command lock. Command lock is just a symlink. No, it's not in here. It's in local in. Yeah. So lock here is just a symlink to my script in here. And in here I configure xsecurelock as I like. For example, here it displays some video instead of displaying the black screen. So with that symlink I can use it in here. So I keep this init file symbol So let me restore X and we can see it. So let's activate. You can see it display the video and the system gets locked automatically. It's nice, isn't it? That is however this automatic locking is not that secure, so don't rely on that. We should just use this as a fallback, just in case, but we should always manually lock the system. So I use the WM as a window manager, so I set up a shortcut to manually trigger locking string. So if we open the WM config, as you can see, I defined the lock command here. I call the symlink that I showed earlier lock, and the lock command is set up to this shortcut mod key mod 4 shift L, so it will lock the system. So now if I press the shortcut, it will lock the string. But however, right now the config is called the lock symlink, which is linking to a script that I have calling xsecurelock directly. This is not recommended because because if you do that, xsecurelock will not know about that. So it's recommended to for manual locking, it's recommended to use xsecureactivate. So basically we activate the DPMS or sleeping mode of the system, and then xsecurelock will get the event and trigger the xsecurelock for us. So with that said, I have another, so we just need to create another script. I call it activate, lock activate, and we just simply call xset as activate. And similarly, I create a symlink to point to this. So lock activate point to my script. So now if I just simply change the DWM config, if I change this lock command to activate, when I call the shortcut, it's gonna trigger this and it's gonna call xsecureactivate. So yeah, so that I think that's pretty much it. Or another test that you can do is you can reduce the length here to shorter, like to 10 seconds only, and you can see the event trigger earlier. So let's try that. So if I set it to only 10 seconds, so now let's wait, and you're gonna see it's dim the string. So let's count down. Actually, do you see it's dimming? Yeah, the dimmer kicks in, it dim the string, and then it's gone. The system is locked now. I have to enter the password again to log in. Okay, I hope this video helps, is helpful. So that's it for this video. Yeah, see you next time.